More than 2,500 years ago, the Prince Siddhartha left his palace in northern India to seek enlightenment. After years of searching and meditation, he attained his goal, and he became known as the Buddha, the awakened one. At first, the Buddha remained silent, thinking that no one would be able to understand the simple and profound truth he had discovered. The local gods then appeared and asked the Buddha to teach. In tribute to his enlightenment, they offered him the golden wheel of a universal monarch. 2 deer came out of the forest and bowed to the wheel, and the Buddha began to teach. For 40 years, the Buddha taught throughout India. After his death, his teachings spread through Asia, eventually reaching Tibet. While Muslim invasions destroyed Buddhism in India, the teachings of the Buddha flourished in Tibet. Hidden from the world by the great peaks of the Himalayas, Tibet became a center of Buddhist practice, art, and learning. Great monasteries and universities were established, and the Buddhist teachings permeated the life and culture of the Tibetan people. Four major schools of Buddhism developed in Tibet: the Nyingma, the Kagyu, the Sakya, and the Gelugpa school of the Dalai Lamas. The Kagyu, or lineage known as the Sacred Word, was transmitted by the Indian scholar and meditation master Naropa to the Tibetan Marpa in the 11th century, and from Marpa to Tibet's great yogi and poet Milarepa. For the last 800 years, the Kagyu school has been led by a succession of 16 incarnate teachers who have been proclaimed as the Black Hat Lamas, or the Karmapas. Uniquely, each Karmapa has foretold the circumstance of his next rebirth. The 15th Karmapa, Kakyap Dorje, died in 1922. The Venerable Kalu Rinpoche, a senior meditation master of the Kagyu order, remembers.
When the 15th Karmapa was on his deathbed, he wrote a letter predicting the birth of the 16th Karmapa, the year, the month, the name of the mother, and that he would be born on the full moon day. The 16th Karmapa was born and then found according to this prediction. He was enthroned and thoroughly trained and began performing Buddha activity as vast as the blue sky. He came to be known everywhere as Karmapa Rangjung Rikpa Dorje, the wish-fulfilling gem.
Rangjung Rigpe Dorje, the 16th Karmapa, was born in Tibet in 1924. Buddhists hold that great teachers such as Karmapa choose to be reborn into this world again and again because they have taken a vow to help all beings reach enlightenment. According to a Tibetan scripture, the fame of the lineage known as the precious Kagyu is proclaimed in the world by a drum whose sound is all-pervasive. The Karmapas point out the great highway by which the Buddhas have become enlightened. The name Karmapa means he who performs the activity of a Buddha. The Karmapa now has his seat at Rumtek Monastery in Sikkim, India. He left Tibet in 1959 when the communist invasion shattered the country's isolation and forced its spiritual leaders into exile. The mountain range separating Sikkim and Tibet, still under communist occupation, can be clearly seen from Rumtek. Taishi Namgyal, nephew of the Karmapa, was raised at Rumtek.
Long before the communist invasion, His Holiness Karmapa told most of his followers and many other Tibetans that the communists were going to take over Tibet and that they should try to go to India. As history goes, the ninth Karmapa had built a monastery at Rumtek. So the king of Sikkim and people of Sikkim invited His Holiness to stay in his own monastery there. Of course, His Holiness had a much greater vision, so he decided to build the new Rumtek monastery.
In keeping with Tibetan tradition, a lay community has grown up around the monastery.
The Tibetan refugees just wanted to live with His Holiness, to live at Rumtek Monastery, and to practice Buddhism. To put it simply, His Holiness is everything that people of Rumtek have. He is the spiritual leader. He is like a king. So I think everything they have is His Holiness.
The monks of Rumtek say there was no master architectural design, and the new monastery was built purely from the Karmapa's inspiration and memory. Many of the 250 monks at Rumtek are children who have been placed in the Karmapa's protection by their parents to receive an education and training in the Buddhist path. Once they are grown, they are free to leave the monastery or remain and renew their vows. At Rumtek, the monks follow the way of the Buddha through chanting, ritual, and the practice of meditation. Meditation practice is the very basis of the Buddha's teachings. His Holiness Dingo Khyentse Rinpoche, a great meditation master of the Nyingma school, talks to a Western student about the practice of meditation.
An average person's mind is full of thoughts and confused. In order to calm this down so that we can understand our mind, we do the meditation practice called shamatha or peace. For example, if you place a bottle lamp outside, the wind blows the flame back and forth. In order to calm the flame, we place glass around it. The flame is like our mind, and the glass is like shamatha meditation.
In Buddhism, the intuitive experience of meditation is joined to the intellectual study of Buddhist scripture. The course of study at the Nalanda school at Rumtek takes 11 years. The lecture is followed by examination and debate. To fully integrate study and meditation practice, each monk undertakes a retreat of 3 years, 3 months, and 3 days at this meditation center above the monastery. Close to the retreat center are the personal quarters of the Karmapa. The training of a new generation of monks at Rumtek has been an important task for the Karmapa. When he left Tibet in 1959, the Karmapa brought with him 4 small children, who were his principal students. Shamar Rinpoche, Tai Situ Rinpoche, Jamgon Kontrul Rinpoche, and Gyal Tsap Rinpoche. According to the Kagyu tradition, each was an enlightened teacher in his last life. They were all discovered by the Karmapa as infants. His Eminence, Jamgon Kongtrul Rinpoche.
My deepest relationship with His Holiness is that He is my root teacher. He is my spiritual and temporal guide. This relationship goes back to many previous lives, which is something unexpressible, not just for 1 or 2 lives, but for a long, long time.
The Karmapa pays attention to every detail in his students' lives. Here he instructs the young Shamar Rinpoche, also known as the Red Hat Lama, in the practice of meditation. To his disciples, the Karmapa is the Buddha himself. Thus, in meditation, the student can meet the mind of the Buddha, the mind of enlightenment. His Eminence, Tai Situ Rinpoche.
This is the lineage of the transmission of inner realization, directly from the master to disciple. It is more than from a teacher to the student. The master is who really you have devotion from deep inside.
When they are ready, the students receive the most advanced teachings of the lineage. The purpose of these teachings is to cut through all self-deception so that the wisdom and compassion of a Buddha may be born in each of them. Here, the Karmapa instructs his students in the use of the bell and dorje. In this practice, the bell signifies knowledge and wisdom, and the dorje signifies the power of compassion. The young students soon become teachers themselves. Tai Situ Rinpoche is now in his late 20s. He's seen here in the Karmapa's aviary.
In the whole world, let's say, the older beings, there is nobody who wanted to be suffered. And the Dharma is, what is the cause of suffering? What is the suffering itself? What is the cause of happiness? What is the happiness itself? As older beings don't want to be suffered, to accomplish or fulfill this wish for the old being, that is very, very basic meanings of the Dharma.
In recent years, a number of Western students have come to Rumtek to study with Kagyu teachers like Jamgun Kantrul Rinpoche.
I've noticed through my own experience with the West that the new student gets very excited, hoping for immediate results. In Buddhism, one is required to go through various stages. It is a step-by-step process in which you receive teaching from your teacher and then follow his instructions one by one. If you rush up a ladder in order to get to the top more quickly, there is a chance that you might fall and break your head. When you study Buddhism, you have to go in a gradual way, not hoping to get enlightened the next morning when you wake up.